And since freight has never had sort of as much money as they would have, freight travel in our country has never gotten over the Chicago problem. And what's the Chicago problem in freight? We built a rail system sort of where all that stuff from the plains in the Midwest all heads into Chicago, and too much of the freight in our country still sort of essentially runs into massive freight traffic jams in Chicago. That's what happens to our freight industry. And they never sort of built enough infrastructure or new rails sort of to get out of the Chicago problem. Literally, like trains going from LA to somewhere on the East Coast sit there for between 16 and hours and 2 days to get through the Chicago traffic jam. Freight jam, it's called. Because back in the 19th century, we built all of our rails to head to Chicago, hog butcher to the world and all. And it's still a problem with freight. But arguably, if you internalize the externalities of trucking, they would have more money to invest to get around this problem and have a better system to deal with more volume in the future, which they almost certainly will have more volume. But the economists might argue they've had too much volume for a long time, because they haven't faced all some cost of sending stuff by trucks. That doesn't mean sort of the local stuff, but what people, just so much of the stuff that sort of drops off from the ports in LA and goes all the way across the country by trucks. It's not the sort of local stuff, or even regional, but we do too much cross-country stuff by trucks. Probably a good time to help.
For a random question.
Yes.
Should you theoretically sorry, it's bad when you start laughing at the question before I finish it. Should you theoretically include in those social costs like things that are even harder to measure, like tension, fear people experience when surrounded by too many trucks, or like the 710 the 710 freeway goes straight out of the port of Los Angeles and Long Beach, and I would rather die than get on that freeway. It's horrible. It's so stressful. So would that be a social marginal cost, or?
I'll answer that question with a